And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live here at Citizen Television. On the bench today, 3 senators talking about pre-election, well, whatever you want to call it. Right next to me is Senator Richard Onyonka from Kisii. We don't know if he's in ODM or Jubilee, somewhere in between.
I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be telling you.
In the middle age, Senator John Matthew, firmly in DCP. And on the far end, Professor Tom Ojienda, the other side of ODM.
UDA.
So I'll start by saying this.
Yes.
I'm in ODM Sifuna for the simple reason that I think I completely agree with what he's talking about.
There's no ODM Sifuna.
Is it the Prof? Prof is saying there's no such thing.
Yeah, there's no ODM
Prof,
Sifuna.
let me
Only
finish.
one ODM.
Let me finish what I'm saying. We believe, first of all, the reason why you see me in Sifuna and I'm also in the alternative government team is because we are all working together. Contrary to what Kenyans think, the normal old way and old style of doing business has changed. We understand that President William Ruto is formidable. We understand he now has state machinery. We understand he has the intelligence, the information, and everything. So we are operating from a box that we have to operate better, smarter, and if need be, cleverer. So what Sifuna is doing is agreeable to me as a senator elected from ODM side, because the issues that Sifuna is talking about are the issues that are in our constitution. We believe that the infrastructure of the DNA of the management of the Kenyan public, whether it is human rights, whether it is economic development and growth, whether it is public service delivery, whether it is human resource issues, we believe that our system is inherently broken.
Okay, but you're also with Matiang'i's side as well.
Yeah, exactly, because Mr. Matiang'i is Mr. Fix-It. My thinking is, and this is the persuasion we are having amongst us, the opposition, Honorable Gachagua has very positive points, which are wonderful, which a lot of people hate, but in Kenya that doesn't really matter. I believe that Justin Muturi will advise in the law. I believe that Matiang'i has education, public service, internal security. These are positives. Mzee Kalonzo has excellent credentials in international diplomacy. He's somebody who provides stability. So what you see, and then Babu Wino and Sifuna are basically providing the wings, and that is the youth. Once the bird begins to fly, in the center you have these matumbo na nini na miguu ya kukanyaga stability, and Babu Wino and Sifuna are flying and the thing will take off. So I'm comfortable with what is going on.
Okay, let me go to Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew, so you're firmly DCP, I mean...
Yeah. Now, let me say this. First, before I come there, before we went to the break, what I wanted to ask, you know, when governors say that they will not come to the Senate because they are being asked for bribes. So now, between saying that they will not come to the Senate and not giving bribes, which would have been an easier thing, they would just say that we are coming to the Senate, but we shall not give you bribes. But they can't say that, we are being asked for bribes, so we will not come. That's the only place that you come for oversight. Now, I am a UDA elected senator. I'm elected on the UDA ticket, who actually no longer believes in the principles of that party that I was elected in. In the days that William Ruto looked like a very brilliant person, there were days that he really looked like a very brilliant person.
What days were those?
Oh, those days that we were electing him. I mean, he looked very, very brilliant. So he was...
What changed?
I mean, that's why I'm coming. He looked brilliant. I mean, even all of us, when he was going for debate, when he was going to many places, I mean, first he actually, ran a campaign that we have never seen. He first...
I think he is brilliant.
No, he was brilliant. I mean, allow me to finish, Professor. He was first, exuding brilliance is first. He actually taught it himself all the ethnic languages of this country. He would go to Kisumu, Jodhurwa Untie, Jodhurwa Umor. He would come to Mount Kenya. He would go to every place. I mean, he would come to Kisumu. I mean, he'd go to Western. Musangari, Murimu, Mwami Yesu, Itomi. I mean, he looked very brilliant. Yeah. So one day he said that we now have a mongrel of an association. We don't know whether government is in opposition or opposition is in government. all the things that we actually spoke about when William Ruto was campaigning, he never speaks about them. And I want you to look at the pattern that William Ruto takes. A long time ago, you used to hear him, hii watu ya mama mboga, hii watu ya boda boda, tutoe hawa hapa chini, tupeleke hapa juu. You've never heard him talk about that for the last like 3 years. He never speaks about mama mboga. He never speaks about mtu ya boda boda. Never. You can never hear it in his speech, whether it is the written speech or the speeches that he is making on the public declarations. When he was elected, his first year, he was saying that now we have actually now come up with a very good roadmap of helping the lowly in the society. We now have something that we call the Hustler Fund. Chukua simu yako, apply for Hustler Fund. For the last 2 years, you've never heard him speak about the Hustler Fund. Now he keeps metamorphosizing. He looks like a caterpillar. You know, one day you find a caterpillar, it's a caterpillar. Tomorrow it's a butterfly. I think the next day is something. He keeps metamorphosizing. And as a person, I feel that it is very difficult for me to continue. I wonder whether, at the loans of State House, and I think Professor Ojinda, you're the one who should tell me, because now those ones who are supposed to be opposition are now government. Those of us who are supposed to be government are now in opposition, because he meets William Ruto more than he meets me. He needs to tell me whether in that State House they ever look at the manifesto that we had as a party.
Okay, but Prof says he agrees. A lot of people agree. He's a brilliant man.
Yes, he is.
I mean, actually, the professor would be the best person to tell us, because
go on, Prof. Tell us.
No, just before he comes in.
Tell us.
Just before he comes in, because when we were elected, even when Raila Odinga was actually alive, even when ODM was in opposition, Professor had already crossed over. He was already with William Ruto, even before ODM crossed over.
Okay, let him speak for himself.
I think, Matthew, I think perhaps I see far. So far, and you must acknowledge that. Definitely, let me tell you this. William Ruto is brilliant. And is brilliant because of what we have seen in transformation in governance. The housing fund and what we have seen as an economic or socio-economic transformation speaks to that. With over 260,000 units built, that is transformation, changing the face of Kenya to the second world status and moving to the first world status. That is important. The Singapore dream and the 5 trillion infrastructure fund speaks to a vision. Surely, Matthew, you cannot see that. The transformation of the health sector, SHA, as applied to the level 2 and 3 hospitals, and SHIF as applied to level 4 to 6 hospitals, and now with a framework that allows Kenyans who require treatment out of the country, if service is not available in Kenya, to be treated out of the country. In fact, last week, we had a presentation from the PS Health on the new infrastructure under SHA to allow Kenyans to seek treatment in India.
Could I?
And we have also, no, it's okay, just hold on, give it time. The infrastructure, now we have the Rironi project road that is going on. And since I'm on that road twice a week, I know that it's going on. And that it is intended to open up the problematic Nakuru-Nairobi highway, because it goes all the way to Total. That will open that side. The same way His Excellency President Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta opened the central region up to Nyeri with a dual carriage. And that has spurred business and growth in that area. Jeff, that is a visionary leader. It's a visionary leader who knows that there's need to invest in infrastructure, there's need to advance the country from where he found it to the next level. Jeff, William Ruto has employed over 400,000 teachers since he came into power. Who did that before? Nobody. So we cannot say that merely because Matthew changed his mind or no longer sees the brilliance in that leader, that he's no longer brilliant. He is. The broad-based structure, Jeff, has ensured that we have the gelling of governance and the tapping of brilliance and expertise from the other side, the ODM side, fusing government after the events of 25th June 2024.
But
the 10-point agenda itself is a brilliant piece of work.
By the way, that number you said, 400,000 teachers, that's not correct. That's not correct. It's only 76,000.
Thank you. Let me come in.
It's not 400,000. That's right.
It's an ongoing
thing, but it's not 400.
Wait.
That's the aspiration. And I'll tell you, even as much as
it just means
about
as an aspiration.
in as much as complaining about the teachers, I can tell you that teachers have been employed, and this is a real story because I know many that we've had employed in our county.
Professor,
please, thank you.
Let's get some facts right.
I want to agree with the Honorable, my senior counsel, Tom Ojienda. Tom, honestly, I have never met a person who is able to look at, analyze, and express his views about any opinion in the world. And he sounds like he knows all of it, like President William Ruto. So we don't challenge his integrity, credibility in terms of his ability to actually even tell you what he's going to do. What we are saying, Tom, is this, my brother. And I've had many of you who love government right now use that kind of argument. Let me start with the teaching thing you are talking about. You see, he's saying we have 400,000 teachers who have either been employed or there is a contingency for that to continue.
Yes, and this
Thank you.
Other level.
But those who are being employed, the only way letters are found is that members of parliament are given those letters, which are given by the executive. The letters are removed from Teacher Service Commission. Before, Teacher Service Commission would send a letter to a teacher who's been hired. So tell me how you audit to know how many teachers have been employed. Up to now, Kisii County, I have not had an opportunity for the government to confirm whether they have employed for me 1,500 teachers, what I deserved from the 75,000. When I check and ask, even on hearsay, from the Teacher Service Commission people in Kisii, the total number of people who have been employed in Kisii are 133. So we have a system. If Senior Counsel Tom Ojienda is able to get those letters by accepting that he's in government and he loves President William Ruto, which he does, and that is exactly what he deserves, then he has done well for his people.
Well,
but my argument is, what are you going to do? Tom, please allow me, sir.
I've employed many teachers.
Exactly. So he has employed many teachers.
It's a good thing.
So let me put it this way. No, I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying, the system you are operating in operates like a casino. You must love the president for him to give you the letters. If you don't love him, he gives his friends. Once he has given the friends, meritocracy is never followed. The policy initiatives that Teacher Service Commission had, because it was an independent commission, don't matter anymore.
But you know what happens?
The issue of teachers being settled because of our tribalism and those things stopped.
You know,
all right, so I'm using teachers as an example. Let me come to the second one. Senior counsel, we live in this country. Everybody talks to us. People tell us, those houses, nobody has ever told the government, the president shouldn't have come up with building of houses. What we are saying, how can you build houses on public land? And then there's no clarity on how these houses are going to be shared. Are they being done by their contracting base? Or is it going to be managed by the public? Like in Kisii, I'm being told that we are going to build houses where the prison was. This is a prison in 1942 where detainees who are fighting with the Mau were put in. I would love that to become a museum instead of the president putting houses there, because in Kisii we have more land elsewhere. And yet he's coming and telling us we are putting it here. Irrespective of what you think. We are talking about the borrowing that is going to do the infrastructure fund.
Yes.
What has been happening in SHA. We have never said that SHA was a failure. We have said SHA is a cartel which is based with a platform which handles the finances of SHA, and that's how money is being siphoned out of SHA. It is an excellent program. Only that money is being siphoned and stolen.
By the way, speaking of national...
And the Auditor General has said that.
Yeah, Senator, speaking of National Infrastructure Fund, does the Senate have a say in it at all?
We are supposed to.
Let me say this.
No,
I'm coming to that. Of course, Senate is Parliament, so Parliament will always get...
No, you're not answering. Does the Senate have a say in the National Infrastructure Fund?
You know, that one will be a money bill. So therefore, it will go directly to the National Assembly. So ours would be to give an opinion, but that would be a money bill, and it will go.
And yet the county governments will need this money.
Yes,
just like say the finance bill. But I wanted to say this. You know, listening to Professor and looking at the way this government operates and looking at how President William Ruto operates, it looks like President William Ruto operates with the mantra, give somebody poison, then follow him with milk so that he does not die. And why do I say that? Because I wonder whether Professor knows that this SHA that he is actually really celebrating, first works like a theater. It will serve one person here, it will jump like 15 people, go to the 16th person, jump
to
like
the
17
23rd.
people, go to the 23rd person. That is thing number one. Number two, I wonder whether he has made some little research and asked how much SHA owes the health facilities in his own county of Kisumu. Like, for example, if SHA owes 196 million to JM Karaoke Hospital in Nyandarua, is that hospital not collapsing? How will that hospital continue offering services? I wonder whether he knows that most of, especially the private and the faith-based health facilities, are no longer accepting SHA because, the payments are not being made. But now, let me come to this. None of us is opposed to development. None of us is opposed to development because first we are elected. We want development to come to our places. We want roads to be done in our places. But how comes every development that the president promises with his own mouth, it does not happen?
Prof.
For example, let me
what do you say? Hold on.
Let me just finish.
Let's go to Prof. Prof.
I'm just finishing.
I'm talking figures here. I'll ask
You come and
Okay.
you come in. How comes
And
that the
Jeff
president...
had not finished.
Hold on, I'll get you.
You know, the president, in essence, is supposed to be the symbol of national unity. He comes and stands at a place called Jambini, for example, and says that in 1 year, the road from Mama Mukami Kimathi, it was all over, it was live. From Mama Mukami Kimathi's place to Jambini, Jambini said, just 7 kilometers will be done in 1 year. It's now 3 years. It has not been done. He comes and says that St. Luke's water project in South Kinangop will be given 1.2 billion. Not even 1 shilling has been given. He comes and says that in honor of Mama Mukami Kimathi, who is lying here, I'll give 100 million to Jabini Health Center, and it will be made out of 3 hospitals. Not even 1 shilling has been given. How comes the president is so comfortable in lying? How comes he lies without ceasing? I mean, every time, and I can go on and go on.
You heard Prof say that at least Rironi Mount Summit Road, that's already underway. That's already underway.
Yes, he has actually, you see, it's a wait-and-see situation because none of those things that he has ever promised has actually come to fruition. And by the way, finally...
Hold on. Senator, let him speak.
Jeff, the fact that Senator Methu has not followed up on the projects that the president promised does not mean that the promises are bare promises. They are not puffs. They are real promises. They should be actioned. And leaders, of course, must learn to follow up projects that the president speaks to. But figures now.
You need to go into order. You also need to go into order.
But some figures.
Allow me to fix figures.
But I mean, he has already.
No, on figures.
That we need to follow up.
On SHA. On SHA.
Yes.
The total collections as at February 2026 was 142.78 billion. Disbursements paid to providers stands at 73%. These are figures that we got from the CS when he presented in Naivasha over the weekend. SHA disbursed 105 billion shillings to providers. The problem has been fraud. And there's a new mechanism that has been put in place to ensure that applicants comply with certain requirements so that we prevent fraud. And it is where there's a problem because certain hospitals are not compliant. But let me say this, that the pending claims now stands at 5.9 billion. But in the budget, a provision has been made for 11.9 billion that will clear all the outstandings, including the hospital he's talking about.
But you saw that Daily Nation headline at that time, right? 11 billion shillings.
It is the fraud.
Scam.
Just hold on.
It is the same hospitals that are involved in the scam.
Thank you.
It is the same hospitals that are involved in the scam.
Right.
And that's what the system is trying to eradicate through ensuring that the forms for applications are compliant.
I want to say this. How can people take 11 billion shillings and nothing happens? When you have people who are supposed to be employed in the SHA infrastructure to manage all this, just because the minister comes from a certain region. And I know he's going to start screaming at me because I think I'm trying to target him. No. The same old bad habits that where you are as a minister, you're going to bring all your tribesmen to put them there so that they can give you better service. That's not, Jeff, what I'm saying is that the dysfunctionality of our country, whether it is for SHA, Tom, my senior counsel, I agree with you, those are your figures. But nobody has ever come to tell us whether the system that is managing the financial platform for SHA, which is owned by foreigners and is kept out of this country, has come back to the national government. The answer is no. We are not saying that SHA is useless. What we are saying, whether you're looking at SHA, whatever project the president is doing, at the backhand of it, look at the story about NTSA. That you have a private company, instead of state corporation officers managing the National Transport Safety Authority in this republic, a private company is now being outsourced to come and run the fines to collect the money. The same thing that you have that was happening on the E platform. It is being discovered by the controller and the auditor general, the billions and billions of shillings that are being stolen right now. And it's scary. I look at my colleagues and I ask them, we are not saying that SHA is nothing. We are not saying that the president has not built houses, but he's building houses where his friends are the ones who are supplying everything, including the air around the place. And yet you are telling me I can't ask these questions because my job is to oversight you.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I want to take a break, come back. There's plenty more to talk about, and I know you guys want to just air your views. So, carry on. Carry on. I like it. It's a good conversation. I might have to use that fire extinguisher later on, but for now, let's take a break. Plenty more. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Ayub Abdul Kadir, at Citizen TV Kenya, hashtag JKL Live. JKL Live takes a break. Wow, these senators are on a roll. We'll be back with them after business and sports in a little while. Back in a moment.